Right, so Manchester United kicked off the season against Fulham on Friday night, and we're just going to talk about that briefly because I feel like there was some positive signs for Man United, but there was also signs where I felt they're still same old Manchester United from last season. So first of all, I thought first half there was a lot of positive signs for Man United, and I think the idea to play Bruno Fernandes up front was very smart because I've said this for a while. I actually see Bruno as a false nine. I don't see him as an attacking midfielder because I don't think I don't think he's like a creator like Erdegaard, for example. I think he's not that kind of player, and he's not got the defensive discipline either. But when he was playing up front, because he's such a good finisher, and he's a lot better at creating in the final third near the box. I think from deeper positions, I don't think he's good from deeper positions. And what makes Erdegaard so good is Erdegaard can play everywhere. He picks up the ball from deep. He goes left. He goes right. He just controls the whole game. I don't think Bruno Fernandes can control a game, but what he can do is find the back of the net. And first half, you had Casemiro as a holding midfielder, Mainu and Mount in front, just creating, and then you had Bruno Fernandes as like a false nine with Rashford on the left and Diallo on the right, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Mount and Mainu were creating, and it was, and even Casemiro brought the best out of Casemiro as well. And Bruno, even though Bruno didn't score, he had some very good chances to score. And on any other day, they go in, and his movement is like a striker at times. So I thought there was a lot of positive signs in that first half, but in the second half, that's where I feel Man United were poor, because they, at 0-0, Manchester United against Fulham, you don't want Fulham controlling the game, and in the 60th minute onwards, it was Fulham who were dictating play. And you're Man United, you can't have that. You can't have Fulham dictating play at Old Trafford. And it took a brilliant goal from Xerxes at the end to bail Man United out of jail. But I thought that first half was brilliant. I liked Bruno up front. But Bruno in the second half, he came a bit deeper. And Rashford was up front. That is where it went wrong for Man United, I thought. Because Bruno, like I said, he can't control the game from deep. He just can't. You're better off having him as a false nine. Get him as close to the goal as possible because he's a goal scorer. Bruno is a goal scorer. You need to make the most of that. And I don't think Rashford can lead the line either. So Rashford on the left, I'd like him a tad more central, but you want him on the left side, and Amad Diallo a tad central, and that means the fullbacks can go high. But I just feel that it was, Fulham had a few chances in that second half, and even though they posed United a few problems first half, I still feel like there was a bit of defensive control from Man United. All right, Lissandro Martinez got done for the first attack from Fulham in the first half, but the second one, he learnt from it, and he just barged Traore out of the way, and United weren't really troubled after that. But it was evident in that second half that United still need another midfielder, particularly a defensive midfielder, because Casemiro was getting found out in that second half. And it's, Bruno can't be that guy. He just can't. But if you play him up front as a false nine, that means Mount and Mainu in front can create. And then maybe Casemiro or Ugarte has been linked, can control the game from deep. And then, I just felt second half they lost control when Bruno came deeper. And if I was United going into the Brighton game, I would have Bruno in as a false nine, Rashford on the left, Amad Diallo on the right, and then, Mainu and Mount and Casemiro in that three. That's what I would do, and have them creating. But that's, second half when Rashford went up front, they lost control. They lost control, and they need to work on that. But overall, it was the first game of the season. 1-0 is a good result. It's a good way to start the season in the end. And I feel that I don't think you can play Xerxes and Bruno together. I think you have to play one or the other, because I think if you play Xerxes, he'll be up front, and then Bruno would have to be deeper, wouldn't he? Unless you play Bruno on the left, and then you have Xerxes up front. But I think the Mount, Mainu, Casemiro 3 is a lot better. But Ugarte coming in for United would be a lot better. Like Ugarte, Mainu, Mount, that is a good three. And I think that's the direction United need to go in the long term. But regardless, it was a good win. But if they play like they did second half against Brighton, Brighton will honestly tear them apart. So they got to be careful. They got to stick to the principles they had in the first half going forward into that Brighton game.